The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in the stale air of the county courthouse, but Evan Hansen didn't flinch. He just stared at the judge's retreating back, the words "foreclosure approved" echoing in his skull louder than the murmurs rippling through the gallery. His mother's hand, cold, bony, and trembling, clutched his sleeve, her painted nails digging in like hooks. "Evan, baby, you have to fix this," she whispered, her voice a razor wrapped in velvet. "You're the only one who can. For family." Evan's heart hammered against his ribs, not from the eviction notice clutched in his fist, but from the lie he'd swallowed whole. This wasn't just about the house. It was about him. About the boy who'd come out at 16, whispering it in the kitchen over cold pizza, only to watch his father's face twist into something unrecognizable. "You'll always be my son," Dad had said then, but the checks started coming anyway. Tuition for his sister's private college. Dad's business ventures that were really poker nights in Reno. Mom's spa retreats to find herself. And Evan? He paid it all month after grinding month because love, they said, meant sacrifice. Gay love, apparently, meant a bottomless wallet. He was 25 now, a junior accountant in a midtown Chicago firm, buried under spreadsheets that balanced everyone else's chaos but his own. The L train rattled overhead as he trudged home to his shoebox apartment in Wicker Park, the foreclosure papers crumpling in his messenger bag like a guilty secret. Rain slicked the sidewalks, turning the neon signs of dive bars into bleeding halos. Evan ducked into a corner coffee shop, the kind with mismatched mugs and baristas who remembered your order, seeking refuge in the steam of a black Americano. That's when he saw him, Connor Murphy, all sharp angles and storm cloud eyes, hunched over a laptop at the corner table. Connor, who Evan hadn't thought about in years, not since high school drama club where they'd bonded over botched monologues and shared eye rolls at the jocks. Connor, who had vanished after graduation, rumors swirling like smoke. Rehab, a bad breakup, something about his sister's shadow eclipsing his own. Now here he was, fingers flying over keys, a faint scar tracing his jawline like a map to forgotten wars. Evan froze, mug halfway to his lips. Connor looked up, those green eyes locking on like a spotlight. "Hansen? Holy shit, is that you?" His voice was gravel and honey, laced with that old sarcasm that hid the hurt. He pushed back his chair, standing taller than Evan remembered, 6'2" of lean muscle wrapped in a faded Blackhawks hoodie. "You look like you just lost a fight with a spreadsheet." Evan managed a laugh, brittle as autumn leaves. "Something like that. Long time, Murphy." They fell into easy rhythm, the years melting like sugar in hot coffee. Connor was freelancing as a graphic designer now, crashing on friends' couches after a messy split from his last gig in New York. "Family's a bitch," he said, stirring his latte with unnecessary vigor. "Mine's got me on speed dial for every crisis. Yours?" Evan's throat tightened. He thought of the voicemail from his sister, Lily, that morning. "Ev, Mom's freaking out about the house. Dad's talking bankruptcy again. You know we need you." Need. The word that had chained him since prom night, when he'd kissed a boy behind the bleachers and come home to lectures about choices and responsibilities. His family didn't hate him, not outright. They just redirected. His queerness became the unspoken tax on his existence, payable in wire transfers and swallowed pride. "I get by," Evan lied, sliding into the seat across from Connor. They talked for hours about the Cubs' latest choke, the best taco truck on Milwaukee Avenue, the way Chicago winters carved hollows in your chest. Connor's laugh was rare, a low rumble that made Evan's pulse stutter. When the shop closed, Connor slung his bag over his shoulder. "Walk with me? My place is just a few blocks." Well, my buddy's place. The rain had eased to a drizzle, streetlights pooling gold on the pavement. They wandered past murals of jazz legends and boarded up storefronts, the city humming its gritty lullaby. At a crosswalk, Connor bumped Evan's shoulder. "You were always the nice one, Hansen. Too nice. Bet that's bitten you in the ass." Evan shrugged, the papers in his bag a lead weight. "Maybe, but nice pays the bills." Connor's gaze lingered, something unspoken flickering there. Recognition, maybe, of the masks they both wore. They reached the brownstone, fairy lights twinkling in the window like false promises. Connor hesitated at the stoop. "Hey, text me sometime? We should grab a real drink. Not this hipster sludge." He pulled out his phone. Their numbers exchanged in a blur of thumbs. Evan nodded, watching Connor disappear inside. Alone on the sidewalk, he pulled out the foreclosure notice. The ink smudged from the rain. His family's house, Victorian relic in Oak Park. Mortgage his salary propped up like a house of cards. One more loan he'd promised himself. Just one. But as he walked home, Connor's words echoed, "Too nice." That night, Evan lay awake in his twin bed. The city symphony outside his window, a cacophony of horns and distant sirens. He scrolled through old texts from Lily, emojis and pleas intertwined. "You're the strong one, Ev. For all of us. Strong." The word tasted like ash. At dawn, he wired the down payment extension, fingers numb on the keyboard. Another month bought. Another piece of himself sold. Weeks blurred into a rhythm. Spreadsheets by day, Connor's texts lighting up his phone by night. Deep dish or thin crust? Avoid the L at rush hour. It's a meat grinder. Their first real hangout was at a rooftop bar in Logan Square, skyline jagged against a bruised sunset. Connor arrived with a six-pack of craft IPA. His hair windswept, grin crooked. Figured we'd skip the overpriced slop. They clinked bottles, the fizz mirroring the spark in Evan's chest. Connor talked about New York, the subways that swallowed you whole, the gigs that paid in exposure, the ex who called him too intense. Evan listened, nodding, until Connor turned the spotlight. "Your turn, Hanson. What's eating you? You got that kicked puppy look." Evan stared at the horizon, the Sears Tower, Willis, he corrected himself. A monolith of glass and greed. Family stuff. Dad's business tanked again. Mom. Lily's in grad school, buried in debt. He omitted the part about the checks, the way his bank app showed a perpetual negative balance. Connor's brow furrowed. "And you're the family ATM? Classic. Mine tried that, Dad's loans for his startups that were really bar tabs. I cut the cord last year. Best decision ever." Evan's laugh was hollow. Easier said than done. But Connor's words burrowed deep, a seed of doubt in the garden of guilt. As summer thickened, so did their nights. Picnics in Millennium Park, where tourists snapped selfies amid the bean. Late movies at the music box, hands brushing in the dark. Connor's touch was electric, casual at first, a hand on the small of Evan's back guiding him through crowds, then deliberate, fingers lacing during a midnight stroll along the lakefront. One evening, under the planetarium's glow, Connor stopped, pulling Evan close. "I remember you from high school," he murmured, breath warm against Evan's ear. "Quiet kid with the killer voice. Why'd we lose touch?" Evan's heart raced. "Life, I guess. Choices." Connor's lips brushed his temple, soft as a question. The kiss that followed was tentative, then fierce, tasting of salt and possibility. In that moment, Chicago faded, the horns, the hustle, leaving only the two of them, tangled in the wind off Lake Michigan. But dawn brought reality. Evan's phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Sweetie, the roof's leaking. Can you spot us for repairs? Love you." He sent the money before coffee, the transaction chime a death knell. Connor stirred beside him, arms slung over Evan's waist. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," Evan lied, pressing a kiss to Connor's forehead. "Just work." The lies piled like unpaid bills. Connor sensed it, pulling back during their dates, eyes searching. "Talk to me, Ev. You're vanishing on me." "I'm fine," Evan insisted, but the mirror showed hollow cheeks, eyes shadowed. At the firm, his boss praised his overtime, oblivious to the freelance gigs Evan moonlighted. Graphic proofs for Connor's clients, ironically, to cover the gaps. Fall arrived with a vengeance, leaves carpeting the streets in crimson regret. Lily called from Boston, voice cracking. "Ev, I'm failing chem. Tuition's due. Please." He drained his savings, then his credit line. Connor invited him to a house party in Pilsen, murals exploding in dayglow defiance. But Evan begged off, claiming a deadline. Instead, he sat in his apartment, staring at bank statements that screamed betrayal. Not his family's, but his own. Connor showed up unannounced, pizza box in hand, rain dripping from his curls. Bullshit deadline. You're dodging me. His voice was soft, edged with hurt. They ate on the fire escape, city lights winking below. Connor set down his slice. I like you, Evan. A lot. But I can't do half in. Evan's chest ached. It's not you. Everything. The words tumbled out then, the coming out, the conditional love, the endless demands. Connor listened, fury simmering in his jaw. They're using you. Like a damn prop. No. Evan protested weakly. They're family. Fuck that, Connor said, pulling him into a hug that smelled of pepperoni and rain. You're more than their wallet. For the first time, Evan believed it. They made love that night. Not frantic, but slow, exploratory, bodies mapping forgiveness in the dark. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Connor whispered, "Stay with me. We'll figure it out." Evan wanted to. God, he did. But the next morning, Dad called. Son, the bank's circling. One more push. The wire transfer was automatic muscle memory. Connor noticed the dip in Evan's energy, the way he'd check his phone mid-conversation. What's the play here, Ev? You gonna keep bleeding for them? I have to, Evan said, voice breaking. It's what sons do. Connor's eyes darkened. Not this one. Not anymore. Winter loomed, the first snow dusting the city like powdered sugar on a wound. Evan and Connor's world shrank to stolen moments. Coffee runs, bundled walks in Grant Park, where ice skaters twirled under strings of lights. Connor's apartment, now theirs unofficially, became sanctuary, walls papered in his designs. Abstract swirls of blue and gray, evoking lake waves crashing. But the calls escalated. Mom's emergency dental work. Lily's car repair. Dad's investment opportunity. Evan juggled it all, smile cracking at the seams. One night, after a particularly brutal shift, he collapsed on the couch, head in Connor's lap. I can't keep up. Then stop, Connor urged, fingers combing through Evan's hair. Set boundaries. Therapy, maybe. I've got a guy, group for queer folks with shitty families. Evan balked. Therapy? That's for broken people. Connor's laugh was bitter. We're all broken, Ev. Question is, do you want to stay that way? The idea gnawed at him. He signed up for the group, anonymous at first, spilling his guts in a circle of folding chairs in a community center basement. The facilitator, a burly ex-Marine named Theo with a rainbow pin on his lapel, nodded. Sounds like financial abuse, Evan. Classic with rejection trauma. Abuse. The word landed like a slap. That night, he confronted Mom over FaceTime, screen glitching in the wind. I need to cut back. My own bills are piling up. Her face crumpled, mascara rivers. After all we've done, we accepted you, Evan. This is how you repay us. Accepted. The myth they'd spun since he was 16. He hung up, gut churning, and crawled into bed where Connor waited. Proud of you, Connor murmured, holding him through the sobs. Spring thawed the ice, but not the tension. Lily visited, breezing into Chicago with her Ivy League polish, crashing at Connor's place. She was all hugs and big bro jokes, but her eyes darted to his wallet. Ev, the flight drained me. Can you? No, he said, firm for the first time. Figure it out. Her shock mirrored Mom's. What the hell? You're supposed to help. I'm done being the wallet, he replied, voice steady. Connor squeezed his hand under the table, silent anchor. She left in a huff, texts bombing his phone. Selfish, ungrateful. We made you who you are. Who you are. Gay. Burden. The backlash hit like a Chicago gale. Dad's voicemails turned venomous. Don't forget where you came from, boy. We put up with your lifestyle. Lifestyle. The slur that stung deepest. Connor found him on the fire escape, knees to chest, staring at the skyline. "Fuck him," he said, wrapping a blanket around them. "You're building something real here. Us." Evan leaned into him, the warmth seeping bone deep. "What if it's not enough?" "It's everything," Connor whispered, kissing his knuckles. Summer scorched the city, humidity turning the air to soup. Evan and Connor's life bloomed in the heat. Weekend getaways to the Indiana dunes, where dunes rose like golden waves and Lake Michigan whispered secrets. They hiked hand in hand, Connor's camera capturing candid shots. Evan laughing mid-splash, water droplets catching the sun. "My muse," Connor teased. But his eyes held a reverence that made Evan's throat tight. Back in the city, Evan threw himself into boundaries. He set up a separate savings account, Evan's future fund. Connor dubbed it, depositing 10% of every paycheck. No more auto wires. The first missed payment to his family sparked a firestorm. Mom showing up unannounced at his office, heels clicking like accusations on the marble lobby floor. "Evan Michael Hansen," she hissed, clutching her purse like a shield. Colleagues glanced over, whispers slithering. "How dare you abandon us? After the roof, the tuition." "I paid for 8 years, Mom," he said, voice low, guiding her to the elevators. "College for Lily, Dad's debts, your trips. It's time I live for me." Her eyes narrowed, lipstick bleeding at the corners. "Live for you? With that friend of yours? Parading it around like it's normal." The word hung, laced with the old poison. Evan's jaw clenched. "Connor's more family than you've been in years." Security escorted her out, her sobs echoing. He texted Connor, "Crisis averted." Drinks? That night, at a dive in Andersonville, neon girls' sign flickering ironically over rainbow flags. They drowned the drama in whiskey sours. Connor's thumb traced Evan's palm. "You did good today." Standing tall. Evan sipped, the burn steadying him. "Feels like poking a bear." "Bears hibernate eventually," Connor quipped, but his grip tightened. They danced later, slow sway to an old Springsteen track, bodies fitting like puzzle pieces worn smooth by time. Fall brought harvest festivals and a fragile peace. The family went radio silent, a void that echoed louder than the pleas. Evan thrived in it, promoted at work for his focus, sketching logos with Connor on lazy Sundays, their fingers smudged with graphite and possibility. He even started journaling, pages filling with the unsaid. The terror of that first kiss at 16, the relief of Connor's acceptance, the grief for the parents he'd lost to their own fears. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield. Connor's invite, "Come to mine." Zoe's cooking, well, attempting. Zoe, his sister, the overachiever who'd clawed her way to therapist status, sharp-tongued but soft-hearted. Evan hesitated, his family's table empty, traditions mocking. "I'll go," he decided, heart pounding. Connor's hug was fierce. "Good. We're your people now." The Murphy house in Evanston smelled of sage and overcooked turkey, Zoe bossing her parents with affectionate barbs. Mr. and Mrs. Murphy, Larry and Cynthia, greeted Evan with warm handshakes, no side-eye. "Just heard you're killing it at that firm." Connor's hand found his under the table, a secret tether. After pie, they bundled up for a walk along the lake, wind whipping scarves. Zoe linked arms with Evan. "Connor's smitten. Don't break him. He's fragile under the snark." Evan blushed. "Wouldn't dream of it." Christmas glittered, the city a wonderland of lights and carols. Connor surprised Evan with a custom sketchbook, cover embossed with their initials intertwined. "For the stories you haven't told yet." Evan's gift. Tickets to a Broadway touring show in the Loop. Rent, raw, queer, alive. They held hands openly in the theater, tears streaming during Seasons of Love. The countdown a balm to old wounds. But New Year's Eve cracked the idol. Lily texted, "Family intervention. Dad's sick. Come home." Home. Oak Park, with its picket fences and buried sins. Evan showed Connor the message, gut twisting. "Heart attack, maybe. I have to go." Connor's face fell, but he nodded. "Want backup?" "No," Evan said too quickly. It's mine to handle. The drive west was a blur of slushy highways, radio crooning sad ballads. The house sagged under fresh snow, porch light a feeble beacon. Mom answered the door, eyes red-rimmed, Dad pale on the couch with an oxygen mask. Lily hovered, arms crossed. Evan, Dad rasped, hand outstretched. Knew you'd come. Guilt flooded him, hot and familiar. He stayed a week, nursing broths and fielding just this once requests. Copay for meds, gas for Lily's commute. Connor's calls were lifelines. Miss you. Call anytime. But Evan drifted, the old pull reclaiming him. Discharge day. Dad pulled him aside in the hospital hallway, fluorescent buzz overhead. Proud of you, son, for stepping up. Means the world. The words, long starved, unlocked something. Evan wired the final check, balance zeroed. Back in Chicago, Connor waited at the train station, arms open. You okay? Evan collapsed into him. I think so. It was real this time, not manipulation. Connor searched his face. Good. But if it pulls you under again, it won't, Evan vowed. Spring 2026 bloomed tentative, cherry blossoms dusting the parks. Evan and Connor made it official. Lease signed, boxes merged, a potted fern named Hope on the windowsill. Work hummed. Evan's portfolio grew, clients praising his intuitive edge. Connor landed a contract with a queer mag, illustrations pulsing with life. Then summer struck back. A letter arrived, crisp envelope from a law firm in Oak Park. Evan's hands shook opening it. Notice of claim, breach of verbal agreement. Verbal agreement? His stomach dropped. Inside, demands for repayment of loans totaling $87,000, with interest. Loans, the tuition, the repairs, framed now as debts. His queerness cited in footnotes as context for familial support. A notarized affidavit from Lily. Evan promised to provide indefinitely in exchange for acceptance of lifestyle. Acceptance. The gall choked him. He called Connor from the park bench, voice fracturing. They're suing me for being me. Connor was there in 20 minutes, wrapping him in a hoodie that smelled of home. Bastards. We fight this. The lawyer, a no-nonsense dyke named Rita with tattoos peeking from cuffs, reviewed the file. Shoddy. No paper trail on your end. But the emotional angle classic conversion therapy light. Will countersue for harassment. Harassment. The label fit like armor. Nights dissolved into strategy sessions. Rita's office reeking of takeout lo mein, Connor sketching protest posters, just in case. Evan journaled furiously, entries a torrent. They loved the money more than the boy, but Connor seized the man. Fall trial loomed, leaves turning to fire. Family communications ceased, replaced by curt emails from their attorney. A cousin, blood turned blade. Betrayal's sharpest cut. Lily's final text. This is for Dad's health. You'll understand someday. Connor held him through nightmares. Whispers of you're enough, a mantra. Group therapy evolved. Theo's circle became comrades, sharing war stories over virtual coffees. Expose the pattern, one advised. Records don't lie. Records. The word sparked. Evan dug into his past, bank logs, emails, even old therapy notes from high school, when a counselor had documented the conditional affection post coming out. Buried in a forgotten drive. Audio from a family dinner. Dad slurred, "We'll support you if you support us." Evidence. Arsenal. Winter wrapped the courtroom in frost. The loop's spires icicles against gray sky. Day 1, testimonies. Mom on the stand, tears theatrical. He was our golden boy. Then, that phase. We tried so hard. Phase. Evan's fists balled under the table. Connor's hand covered his, steady. Dad followed, frail but venomous. I gave him everything. This is ingratitude. Rita rose, shark in pearls. Mr. Hanson, define everything. The poker losses? The cruises? While your son worked doubles to fund them. Objection overruled. The gallery murmured. Lily's turn gutted him. Evan changed after, became distant. We needed him close. Close enough to bleed dry? Rita pressed, flashing wire transfer receipts, hundreds, timestamped to Evan's paydays. The judge, a silver-haired woman with kind eyes, adjourned for recess. Connor pulled Evan into the hall. You're dismantling their house of cards. Proud. But night brought doubt. In their bed, Evan traced Connor's scar. What if I lose? Everything. You won't, Connor said, fierce. And if? We rebuild. Together. Spring broke the trial's deadlock, birdsong mocking the tension. Day 2, Evan's turn. He ascended the stand, legs wood, but Rita's nod anchored him. Tell us your story, Mr. Hansen. He did. From the kitchen confession, I'm gay, Dad, to the pivot, support strings attached. They said it was love. But love doesn't demand your soul. Voice steady, he detailed the toll. Anxiety attacks in boardrooms, freelance hustles till 3 a.m., the romance starved until Connor. The jury leaned in, faces a mosaic of empathy and outrage. Cross-examination. Family lawyer, slick as oil. You volunteered these gifts. No coercion. Evan met his gaze. Gifts? They were survival. For scraps of approval. Objection. Sustained. But the seed planted. Rita's coup, the records. Bank statements projected. A ledger of exploitation. Deposits timed to crises. Notes like, Lily tuition. Don't let her down. Then the therapy files, redacted for privacy but damning. Counselor's report on emotional blackmail post-sexuality disclosure. Mom gasped theatrically. Dad shifted, eyes averted. Lily stared at her hands. Closing arguments crackled. Rita, this isn't debt collection. This punishment for authenticity. The Hansens built a wallet from their son's heart. Time to empty it. Opponent. Familial bonds transcend labels. Gratitude, not greed. The jury deliberated 2 days. Evan pacing Connor's designs in their apartment. Walls a riot of color. Connor cooked pasta. Burned the garlic bread. Cracked jokes till Evan cracked a smile. Whatever happens, we feast. Verdict. Dismissal of claims. Countersuit awarded. $50,000 in damages. Plus therapy reimbursement. The courtroom erupted. Rita hugged him, whispering, Justice, kid. Outside, snowmelt trickled in gutters. Connor lifted Evan off his feet. Spin in the slush. We did it. But victory soured. Driving home to Oak Park. For closure, Evan insisted, radio droned family feuds. Irony thick. The house loomed, for sale signs staked like a grave marker. Mom answered, face gaunt. Come to gloat. No, Evan said, Connor solid at his back. To end it. They sat in the living room, ghosts of Thanksgivings past. Dad wheeled in, oxygen hissing. You ruined us. You ruined yourselves? Evan replied, voice even. He slid the check across, half the award, no strings. For the house. Then we're done. Lily sobbed. Ev, please. We're sorry. Sorry. The word he'd craved. But too late. Prove it. Without my money. Connor's hand in his lifeline. They left to silence, city lights welcoming. That night, champagne fizzed. Bodies celebrating in whispers and touches. To new chapters, Connor toasted. Summer healed. Evan funneled winnings into their future. Down payment on a condo in Uptown. Views of the L tracks snaking like veins. Work bloomed. He led a team now, mentoring interns with the kindness he'd hoarded. Connor's art exploded. A gallery show in River North. Queer icons reimagined in bold strokes. Opening night, Evan in a borrowed blazer. Pride swelling as patrons cooed over Evan's light. A portrait of him, eyes alight, chains shattered at his feet. Fall deep in bonds. They adopted a rescue mutt, Max. All wagging chaos and unconditional love. Walks in Lincoln Park became ritual. Leaves crunching underfoot. Connor's arm around Evan's shoulders. This is it, huh? The American Dream, gay edition. Evan laughed. With better soundtrack. Thanksgiving at the Murphys again. Table groaning under Zoe's perfected turkey. Larry raised a glass. To chosen family. Cynthia pulled Evan aside later, pressing a photo album. Connor's childhood. Awkward grins and finger paints. He lights up around you. Thank you. Tears pricked. Mutual. Christmas. Tree trimmed with ornaments from their travels. Dune shells. Music box tickets. Gifts unwrapped. Connor's a leather journal. Embossed, our story. Evan's. A ring, simple silver band etched with coordinates of their first kiss. Not proposal, Connor clarified, blushing. Promise. Evan slipped it on, heart full. Best kind. New Year's dawned crisp. Fireworks blooming over the lake. They watched from the balcony, Max snoring at their feet. Resolutions? Connor asked. More you, Evan said. Less ghosts. Spring 2027 whispered change. Evan's promotion came with travel, conferences in Seattle, audits in Miami. Connor tagged along when he could, sketching cityscapes, their hotel nights a tangle of jet lag and joy. Back home, group therapy tapered, Theo's graduation hug. You've rewritten your narrative, but ripples from the past lapped. A letter from Lily, therapy's hard. Miss you. Can we talk? Neutral ground. A cafe in the loop, neutral as snow. She arrived changed, hair cropped, eyes clear. I'm sorry, Ev. We weaponized your love. Dad's in counseling too. Mom. Trying. Evan nodded, walls high. Actions, Lil. Not words. I know. She slid a flash drive. My part in the suit, deleted emails, my idea. Proof if you need. He pocketed it and used but weighty. Start with yourself. Hug awkward but real. First crack in the ice. Summer sizzled. Their condo a haven of fans and iced tea. Connor show toured Milwaukee, then Detroit, Evan road-tripping shotgun, playlist heavy on Indigo Girls and Hosier. Motel stops. Dive bars with pool tables, kisses under neon. Road warriors, Connor dubbed them. Fall brought harvest moons and a whisper of forever. Over cider at a Pilsen orchard, Connor knelt. Not dramatic, just him. Marry me, Ev? Make it legal, messy, ours. Tears blurred the twinkle lights. Yes. God, yes. News spread. Zoe hooped over wine. Rita toasting to outlasting the odds. Even Lily texted congrats. Tentative bridge. Winter wedding planning warmed the chill. Small city hall. Then reception at the music box. Films flickering as guests danced. Vows exchanged under the marquee. Evans, you saw me when I was invisible. Connors, I'll fight for us always. Honeymoon. Amtrak to New Orleans, jazz funerals and beignet. Balcony nights, bourbon in hand. Evan traced Connor's ring. Worth every scar. Back in Chicago, spring eternal. Evan's firm expanded. He consulted on queer-inclusive policies. Voice steady in boardrooms. Connor taught workshops, art as therapy, at the center where they'd met Theo. One evening, walk with Max, cherry blossoms shedding like confetti. Phone buzzed, Mom. Heard about the wedding. Proud. Can we visit? Evan glanced at Connor, who nodded. Maybe. Small steps. Summer solstice. Family dinner, neutral turf. A bistro in Wrigleyville. Awkward silences. But Dad's, you look happy, son. Mom's tentative, he's handsome. Lily's grin. Big bros hitched. Not forgiveness, but thaw. Connor's toast. To imperfect loves. As fireflies danced, Evan squeezed Connor's hand. The wallet empty, heart full. The American queer odyssey, hard-won and holy. Yet peace, like Chicago's summers, carried storms. 2 years into marriage, Evan's career crested. A senior partner offer. Relocation to their New York satellite. Connor balked. The city that chewed me up? Pass. Fights simmered. Late nights poring over maps. Connor's sketches piling like unspoken resentments. It's your dream, Evan urged. Freelance anywhere. Anywhere but there. Connor snapped, scar twitching. Ex-ghosts lingered. The boyfriend who'd called him unstable. The agency that ghosted his portfolio. Compromise. Stay rooted. Remote hybrid. Tension eased, but cracks lingered. Fall foliage masked them. Thanksgiving at the Murphys, Zoe's twins toddling, chaos a bomb. Winter whispered doubt. Connor's gigs dried, AI tools nipping at Illustrator's heels. Obsolete, he muttered, beers multiplying. Evan found him at the kitchen table, sketches crumpled. Talk to me. What's to say? I'm the house husband now. Bitterness laced the words. You're not. Evan soothed, but the mirror showed strain. His travel bags by the door, Connor's solitude echoing. Spring thawed the rift. Connor enrolled in coding boot camp, pivoting to digital design. Future-proof, he quipped, but pride flickered when Evan praised his first app mockup. Summer healed deeper. Anniversary trip. Road to Yellowstone, geysers erupting like joy. Tent nights, stars blanketing, Connor's head on Evan's chest. Sorry for the winter grump. You're my North Star. Evan kissed his temple. Always. Fall brought bounty. Lily announced engagement to a woman, soft-spoken librarian from her program. Your fault, she teased over brunch. Showed me courage. Evan's chest swelled. Mom and Dad attended the shower, gifts wrapped tentatively. Progress, petal by petal. Winter holidays glowed. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing the balcony, Max decked in a bow. Connor's gift, a custom board game. Evan and Connor's queer quest. Tiles etched with milestones. Outing ordeal, trial triumph. Laughter bubbled, tears chased. New Year's, resolution to travel domestic. Asheville next. Blue Ridge hikes and craft brews. Vows renewed in a mountain chapel. Impromptu. Pastor chuckling at their rings gleam. Spring 2029. Evan's book deal. Memoir pitch. Ledger of Love. A Gay Son's Reckoning. Landed with a splash. Agent buzzing. Raw, timely. American as apple pie and picket fences. Writing consumed him. Desk a warren of notes. Connor bade a read. Edits gentle. Lean into the romance. Us. Chapters wove their thread. The coffee shop spark. Lakefront kiss. Courtroom anchor. Summer launch loomed. Publicity tour. Readings in indie shops. Panels on queer family dynamics. Connor tagged for the Chicago stop. Podium nerves shared backstage. Evan read the hook. That gavel slam voice cracking on family. Applause thundered. Signings stretched till closing. Reviews poured. Kirkus. Hanson's prose sings with Midwestern grit and tender hope. NYT. A testament to chosen kin. Royalties trickled, funding a studio for Connor. Sunlit space in their building, canvases unfurling. Fall harvest. Book tour wrapped. Lily's wedding in Boston. Evan walked her down, arm linked. Dad in the pews nodding approval. Vows echoed his own. Through betrayals and blooms. Reception dance. Father-daughter turned brother-sister. Twirls and tears. Mom pulled Evan aside. Your books. Opening. We're reading it. Together. Swallow hard. Good. Winter quieted. Snow sculpted the city, their world cozy. Connor's app launched, queer therapy matcher, matching survivors to counselors. Beta users raved. Seed funding followed. Partners in crime, he toasted. Spring 2030. Anniversary 5. Vow renewal? Nah, quiet dinner at that first coffee shop. Now Hanson's Brew. Owners winking at their entrance. Mugs clinked. To endurance. But life's curveballs. Evan's fertility whisper. Late-night talks, post-book hangover. Kids? Really? Connor's eyes softened. With you? Yeah. Surrogacy research agencies gleaming with promise. Matches, consultations, joy laced with logistics. Fall selection. Mia, artist from Milwaukee, story mirroring theirs. Estranged folks, found family. Winter wait. Ultrasounds, kicks documented in Connor's sketches. Little warrior, he captioned one. Spring miracle. Birth in a Lincoln Park hospital, cries piercing the dawn. Theo there, Godfather honor, Zoe cooing. They named him Riley, Irish for valiant. Homecoming. Condo baby-proofed, Max sniffing curiously. Summer of firsts. Coos, crawls, sleepless hazes. Evan balanced bottles and briefs. Connor's lullabies soothed. Park picnics, rainbow blankets, strangers' smiles. Fall deepened roots. Riley's baptism, secular. Circle of loves. Murphy's, Hanson's tentative. Dad held the baby, awe cracking his facade. Grandpa, he tested, voice thick. Winter wonder. First Christmas, tree aglow. Riley's giggles at lights. Book 2 brewing, parenting queer. But shadows. Connor's mom, Cynthia. Diagnosis, breast cancer. Stage 2. Fights at chemo. Fight it, Mom. Zoe Steele, Evans casseroles. Spring rally. Remission declared. Party in Evanston. Cynthia's toast. To the sons who saved me, mine and yours. Summer solstice. Riley's first steps toward Connor's open arms. Evan filmed, tears blurring. Life's tapestry wove on. Betrayals faded to footnotes. Love the bold thread. Chicago's pulse their heartbeat, queer and unyielding. Yet no tapestry lacks fray. 2032 summer scorched. Riley too, terrorizing the sandbox with gleeful anarchy. Evan's firm hit turbulence, recession whispers, layoffs looming. Trim the fat, execs decreed. Connor's app scaled, but investors demanded pivots. Monetize harder. Stress simmered. Evenings. Riley's bedtime stories doubled as strategy sessions, voices hushed over Goodnight Moon. We'll weather it, Connor vowed. But his sketches turned angular, frustration inked. Fall crunch. Evans notice, reduction to consultant, pay slashed. Interim. HR lied. Connor overheard a call. Fight it, Ev. Union. Freelance buffer. Evan deflected, but pride stung. Nights he scrolled job boards, Riley's coos mocking the void. Winter bit. Bills mounted. Evan's future fund dipped. Connor's grant fell through. Not scalable enough. Fights flared. Take the corporate gig in Dallas. Evan pushed. Family first. Family's here, Connor shot back. You'd uproot us for a paycheck? Riley sensed tantrums mirroring. Group reconvened, virtual. Theo's face lined but warm. Old patterns, new skins. Communicate. Spring thaw. Job fair in the loop. Evan networking amid suits. Connor watched Riley, app updates frantic. One night, post-bath, suds and hair. Connor cracked. I feel like dead weight. Evan cupped his face. You're my foundation. We'll pivot together. Summer pivot. Evan launched consultancy. Hanson Ledgers. Queer-owned, focusing nonprofits. First client. Theo's Center. Budgets balanced with heart. Connor integrated AI ethically. App reborn as Queer Kin Connect. Community builder. Fall flourished. Evan's roster grew. Arts orgs, pride funds. Connor's user base swelled. Features like boundary builder tools, digital ledgers for toxic ties. Riley's preschool. Finger paints and ABCs, drop-offs hand in hand. Dadas, he lisped, hearts melting. Winter warmth. Cynthia's 5-year clear. Balloon launch in the park. Dad's call. Read your sequel. Riley sounds perfect. Visit. Bridge extended. Thanksgiving. Hybrid Murphy's host. Hanson's Zoom. Toasts cross screens. To mending. Spring 2033. Riley's 3rd birthday. Park bash with piñata and pals. Lily's visit. Niece in tow, cousins tumbling. Auntie Lil. Riley beamed. Mom's gift. Storybook. Inscribed, for the grandson we cherish. Summer road trip. Route 66 Redux. Baby strapped. Playlists nostalgic. Stops. Diners, motels. Grand Canyon awe. Legacy, Connor murmured. Riley asleep between. Fall harvest. Book 3. Roots and records. Contract signed. Weaving Riley's dawn with old wounds healed. But autumn's cusp. Connor's chest pain. Dismissed as stress. Air dash. Riley with Zoe. Verdict. Arrhythmia. Manageable meds. Monitor. Fear gripped. Not losing you. Evan whispered, hospital bed vigil. Wouldn't dare, Connor rasped, tubes beeping. Winter recovery. Slow paced. Connor's designs from bed. Evan juggling clients and cuddles. Group anchor. Vulnerability's strength. Spring bloom. Connor's treadmill walks. Riley's run, Papa. Cheers. Evan's book tour paused, virtual reads, Riley cameos. Summer strength. App hit milestone, 10K users. Evan's consultancy peaked. Staff hired, Theo among. Riley's questions bloomed. Why two dadas? Answers simple. Love's shapeshifter. Fall deepened. Lily's wedding anniversary. Joint party. Families mingling. Dad's toast. Evan taught forgiveness. Mine first. Tears, hugs. Mom danced with Riley. Laughter peeling. Winter's hush. Fourth Christmas. Snow globe world. Gifts. Connor's custom game expansion. Riley's realm. Evan's family portrait. Commissioned, 3 faces, unbreakable. New Year's. Balcony, fireworks. Riley on shoulders. Dream big, Connor said. Spring 2034. Evan's TEDx invite. From wallet to worth. Queer resilience. Stage nerves. Connor's notes. Your voice changes worlds. Applause roared. Viral clip. Inquiries flooded. Summer surge. Family vaki, Wisconsin cabin. Lake dips. Esmores. Dad fished with Riley. Stories swap sans shame. Fall's gift. Connor's solo exhibit. Scars to stars. Gallery packed. Riley's handprint in one piece. Winter wrapped. Book launch. Riley reading to crowds. Reviews. Evan Hansen cements legacy. Human. Hopeful. But life's undercurrent. Mia's call. Surrogate again? For Riley's sibling. Talks meandered. Hearts open. Spring decision. Yes. Process restarted. Joy laced with memory. Summer wait. Kicks. Scans. Nursery painted neutral. Yellow walls. Ledger motifs faint. Fall positive girl. Named aria song. Winter birth. December dawn. Cries harmonizing. Homecoming chorus. For now, chaos symphonic. Life's ledger balanced, not even but full. Betrayal's chapters closed. Love the endless draft. Yet drafts revise. 2036 summer sweltered. Riley 5, Aria 2. Tornadoes of questions and spills. Evan's consultancy boomed. New York expansion tempting. Connor's app acquired ethical buyout windfall. Semi-retire? He joked, but eyes searched. Fights flickered. Build the legacy. Evan urged. Connor. Legacy's here. Kids' laughter. Not boardrooms. Compromise. Hybrid HQ. Chicago core. Fall stabilized. Family hikes in the dunes, little hands in big. Winter's whisper. Dad's decline. Alzheimer's shadow. Visits to Oak Park, puzzles faltering. Evan. He gripped, lucid flash. Proud. Always was. Tears unspoken. Mom's vigil, softer now. We failed you. But love. Late, but real. Spring forgiveness, joint therapy, Hansen's mediated. Walls crumbled. Stories aired. Lily's tears. I was jealous of your strength. Healing, halting. Summer's joy. Aria's first words. Dada Khan. Melting. Riley's school play, tree roll, branches proud. Fall's fruit. Evan's fourth book. Echoes of Enough. Dedication. To the families we choose and mend. Launch reading. Kids on stage, turning pages. Laughter. Light. Winter warmth. Dad's nursing home holidays. Carols sung off-key. Last lucid. Grandkids. Miracle. Spring 2037. Passing quiet. Snow-dusted grave. Eulogy Evans. He taught sacrifice. Flawed, but father. Shiva blended families, Murphy's, Hanson's, toasts to complexity. Summer solace. Lake house rental, kids splashing, grief waves lapping. Fall forward. Mom's move to assisted. Near them, weekly teas. Aria's crayons her joy. Winter's gift. Connor's novel, graphic. Their story illustrated. Co-author, he credited Evan. Spring release, buzz, tour tandem. Readings duo, voices weaving. Summer milestone. Riley's rainbow flag for school. My Dada's love. Pride parade. Float wave. Family unit. Fall's depth. Aria's questions. Where's Grandpa? Answers gentle. Stars watching. Winter hush. 5th anniversary Aria's age. No, wait. Her second Christmas big. Wait, timelines blur in love's rush. No clarity. Lives layered, not linear. Evan's keynote. National Queer Conference. Records of redemption. Standing ovation. Connor's whistle loudest. Summer 2038. Cross-country drive. Kids strapped. Stories spun. Stops. Diners, landmarks, Stonewall nod. Tears. Fall harvest. Lily's second child. Boy, Evan godfather. Christening. Circles complete. Winter's fire. Cabin getaway. All. Grandma Cynthia and Mom. Roasting marshmallows. Tales traded. Past present. Spring eternal. Evan's sabbatical. Family focus. Volunteer. Center mentor. Young Evans sharing ledgers. Summer's song. Aria's lullabies. Riley's soccer goals. Fall's flourish. Connor's mural. Wicker Park wall. Queer history etched. Dedication. For the wallets emptied. Hearts filled. Unveiling. City council. Crowds. Mayor's speech. Evan and Connor Hanson Murphy. Chicago's heartbeat. Winter close. Decade married. Vow renew, no reaffirm. Beach at dusk. Lake lapping, kids building castles. Evan's words. From gavel to grace, you my constant. Connor's. Wallet to world builder. Love's audit. Infinite. Fireworks inland, but stars sufficed. Max aged. Gray-muzzled. At their feet. Aria asleep on lap. Riley's best night. Life's final record. Not balanced, but boundless. Betrayal's ink faded. Romance's bold. Human, American, eternal. In the quiet after, Evan journaled last entry. They used me once. Now, I use grace. For us, for them, for tomorrow's queer sons. The city slept, pulse steady. Hook closed, story open.